This is SportsCentre. Our top story, Alphonso Davies will captain Canada at the Copa America. Stephen Eustáquio will be a vice captain. Canada opens the tournament Thursday night against Argentina, who of course are captained by Lionel Messi. Hello everyone, I'm Glenn Sheeler. Welcome to SportsCentre. So Canada's men's head coach Jesse Marsch has made his first big call. Alphonso Davies will captain Canada in their first major tournament since the World Cup. It's a significant moment for the 23-year-old star from Edmonton. He'll be standing next to Leo Messi with the eyes of the world on him when Canada opens the oldest continental tournament in the world. Matthew Scianitti has more.
Under Jesse Marsch, Canada's Leadership Council is Kyle Larin, Stephen Eustáquio, Alistair Johnston, Richie Laryea, Jonathan David, and Alphonso Davies. Marsch says he chose Davies to be his captain for what he's already achieved and his presence in the game, because Alphonso Davies has carried the expectation of Canadian soccer on his shoulders for much of his life. And though he is not a vocal leader, Marsch keeps asking Davies what it means for him to be Canadian in a world that really doesn't know yet what Canada's men can achieve on the international soccer stage. Davies will now get to live that journey and lead his country from the front of the line.
It means a lot, being in a refugee camp and coming to a country like Canada. It means a lot, even though I wasn't born there. I felt like I was born there because of how young I came. Definitely being a Canadian is like having a chip on your shoulder, because especially in the world of football, most people don't think Canadians can play football. So every time we go out there, we want to prove someone wrong and prove the world wrong that we can play the game of football. Being named captain was, was a joy. Everyone, accepted it. I'm happy to be captain of this team, and I'm very proud, and I hold myself to a high standard, and definitely the team does as well. So I want to show my leadership, on and off the pitch, and definitely try to lead in the right way.
He has a real presence and a gravity to his personality and to who he is. So, we know he's still young and that he's not a finished product as a captain, but I think that the guys look up to him, that he's an inspiring leader. And, I think Steph at his side, the Leadership Council really supporting him. Like this, I never think the captaincy is a one-man job, just like being the manager is not a one-man job. It's about a group of people working together to help elevate everything. And so I think that Fonzie will be a great representation for what this country will need in 2 years, for what this national team needs, and I expect him to grow into it in a big way.
There is another person involved in all of this, but Stephen Eustáquio says he is not disappointed by not getting the captain's armband, and he will continue to lead in that professional, often understated way that has been praised by his teammates and coaches for years. But that relationship now between Davies and Eustaquio, captain and vice captain, will be central to how Canada holds itself in Copa America. And Eustaquio says he told Davies about being captain, don't put any more pressure on yourself than you already have. I'll be there to support you. Matthew Scianitti, TSN, Atlanta.
He's only 23, but the resume pretty solid for Alphonso Davies, already a four-time winner of the Canada Soccer Player of the Year award, and has made 47 appearances with the men's national team. He was the youngest player to debut and score for Canada in international competition. Did that when he was just 16 years old. Back with Matthew now from Atlanta. And Matthew, you watched Alphonso Davies wear that armband in the Netherlands for one of Canada's European friendlies. So what did he learn from that experience?
I think accountability was the big thing. Not that he didn't have it necessarily before. This is a player who plays for Bayern Munich. But having to do more media ahead of a big international friendly, and then afterwards when I spoke to him, having to have that accountability when it doesn't go well. Davies admitted that perhaps he should have defended better on the Dutch first goal. But even though he's not a vocal player, that presence is also a big deal too, because the whole world is now going to watch Alphonso Davies standing next to Lionel Messi, walking out inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium to open the oldest continental tournament in the world. So that presence is going to have to be there on top of the volume in his voice. And maybe that ticked up a little bit, because Davies admitted today when the heads were hanging low after that 4-0 defeat to the Netherlands, he went to all his teammates and said, come on guys, let's go, pick your heads up. The entire Canadian national team now is going to have to look at Alphonso Davies' presence and listen to his voice a little bit more.
Now, Stephen Eustáquio, he was captain against France, and he's a leader on this team as well. So how does he feel about Marsch's decision?
Yeah, no bitterness from Eustaquio. I've watched this player grow into himself over the last 4 years. To give you a bit of background, he suffered a massive knee injury while playing in Mexico a few years ago, then had to earn his way back to top flight football. FC Porto is a big club, not only in Portugal, but all of Europe. So he knows how to deal with adversity. But this whole situation is not going to bug Stephen Eustáquio. He leads in an understated professional way that his teammates and coaches absolutely love. But that captain and vice captain relationship between Davies and Eustaquio is going to be so key to how Canada holds itself at Copa America. And maybe the most important message from Eustaquio to Davies was, and he shared it with the media, you have so much pressure on yourself. Don't do more than you have to do. I'm there with you.
Canada has 2 more training sessions before Thursday night's tournament opener. He's our national team reporter, Matthew Scianitti. Just a few days away from Canada kicking off their Copa America slate. It'll be their second all-time meeting with Argentina. The first one ended 5-0 loss back in 2010. It was a friendly that Messi did not play in. You can watch it on TSN, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.